You talked about the war on Iran and that Americans do not want another one of these wars. And Trump himself has found his polls dropping because of it, including because of the affordability issue that you and others talk about. Do you think now President Trump is on the way to his own forever war? You were in the Navy, you were a Navy pilot, I believe, and you have the credentials. Is he about to land America into another forever war?
We are right in the middle of one of the most inexplicable wars that we've conducted. And we certainly don't have a clean record in making good choices all the time. But right now, the president couldn't even say at the beginning of this why he was going to war. He made he's had some discussions of getting rid of the nuclear program in Iran, getting rid of their missile program, having regime change. None of that's happened. I guess you could say he did make sure we had regime change, but unfortunately, changing to a regime that is more extremist and more anti-American than the one that was in place. He set back the idea of the grassroots campaign for democracy in Iran by decades. He has done so much harm in the region, it's hard to calculate, not to mention is costing the United States hundreds of billions of dollars. Much of our infrastructure in the region has been bombed, high-end bases that will be very costly to rebuild. We've gone through munitions at a rapid rate that we'll have to replenish. The taking care of veterans from this war will cost us a lot of money. Again and again and again, you turn to these huge costs going up. So now you see the administration asking for $1.5 trillion for the defense budget, when they have cut funding for innovation, cut funding for quality and affordable health care, cut funding for education. I mean, at every turn, they are cutting back on the things that really puts us in such a solid place for middle-class families that can grow the jobs of the future as we're going through tremendous changes with AI. At every turn, they are making decisions that are harming American families. And at the same time, I can't say it enough, Trump is making billions and billions of dollars through his self-dealing.
As a former lieutenant in the Navy, I'm sure you were on the Armed Services Committee, you're very concerned about America's military posture, its readiness, its strength. That is what Pete Hegseth says that he is trying to ramp up, to get the force fighting fit, to make sure, as he says, people are promoted due to their abilities and not any other reasons. What do you make of what he has done so far in terms of, has it strengthened the U.S. military? And of course, the latest is that he's saying that he's going to, let me just get this absolutely straight, he is going to recommend tests for testosterone deficiency amongst troops.
Pete Hegseth is the most incompetent Secretary of Defense this nation has ever had. He is somebody that failed at every job he had coming into leading our military and now is failing at that job tremendously in every single way, by every single measure, not the least of which is getting us into a war that we can't seem to get out of while costing American lives billions of dollars and really has no agenda or strategy, simply has made us less safe. So at this point, he needs to be impeached. He needs to be removed from office because he's dangerous, because he's taking our fighting force, which has been the pride of America, a fighting force I served in, which I was very proud to serve in because it was so professional, because we upheld some of the highest standards of humanitarian law in the Geneva Conventions. And now we've seen that eroded year over year over year. Part of the reason I got out of the military was because I wanted to go into law. I went to law school because of my concerns about torture and rendition that were undermining our military. And Pete Hegseth goes so far beyond some of these things, you know, giving awards to war criminals, saying that war crimes aren't crimes, suggesting that women and black people can't serve. If he really wants to have the strongest fighting force with the most capable people, then he wouldn't have cleared out the flag ranks, the admiral and general ranks of women and black people who have served honorably for decades, who have the most experience, who the force at the military personnel command put up for more stars because they thought they were so very good. And I think when you see, people have said to me, doesn't Trump have anyone advising him who is competent, who is capable, who's good, who's going to help chart this pathway out of Iran? And I said, no, because Pete Hegseth is clearing all of those people out of every command. It is a debacle. It is infuriating. It is offensive. And it is contrary contrary to the values of the United States of America.